A story has to start somewhere. This is where mine begins. In the spring of 2013, my family and I took a trip to visit Washington, D.C. We were actually in the area for a full week, but I mostly want to tell you about one day in particular. And if you want to get technical, this story is really only about a 5 hour slice from Sunday night. We had planned a self guided night tour of the national monuments for that Sunday evening. Now, the monuments in Washington, D.C. are really something to see during the daytime, but they are truly magnificent to observe at night. So, our plan was to rent bikes from the Capitol Bike Share kiosk and ride from our condo to the Washington Monument. We would start our self guided Monuments Night tour from there. The Washington Monument was built in honor of America's first commander in chief, George Washington, an obelisk modeled after the ones you'd expect to find in ancient Egyptian architecture. Construction began on the monument in 1848, but lack of funding and the Civil War interrupted its progress. The capstone was finally set in place on December of 1884, and it officially opened October of 1888. That night, the monument was under repair, so there was scaffolding up and all around the base of the monument, but nonetheless, it was still an awesome sight to see, even under renovation. After reading all about the Washington Monument and taking tons of pictures, our family continued on our self guided night tour riding west to the National World War II Monument. This monument took on personal significance to us because we have relatives who fought during this great world conflict. We spent a considerable amount of time reading and learning more about both the memorial and World War II. This World War II monument is a beautiful testament to those who fought and died, as well as to all those who are a part of America's greatest generation. We all felt a great sense of pride and gratitude for such a wonderful heritage that all Americans share. On the bikes again, we continued west and on to the Lincoln Memorial. This memorial, too, was majestic. We were all very impressed by the beauty of this place. Did you know that the Lincoln Memorial was built to resemble a classic Greek temple? Well, it is. And that was just one of the many things we learned while exploring this monument to one of America's greatest presidents. We all felt this monument a fitting testament to Abraham Lincoln. The views from the Lincoln Memorial were pretty awe-inspiring as well. Looking out across the reflecting pool, you could observe both the Washington Monument and Capitol Hill off in the distance. It's a pretty impressive sight. From there, we continued on over to view the Korean War Memorial and the Vietnam War Memorial. We have relatives and close friends with relatives who fought and died in both wars. We paused to pay tribute to all those who served their nation during this hard period in American history. Some served and gave their very all, and we joined with the purpose of these monuments and honored all those who were lost. We then headed south and east to make our way to the Jefferson Memorial. The path took us through the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, the FDR Memorial, and all along the tidal basin. The reflections of the Washington, Lincoln, and Jefferson memorials in the waters of the tidal basin offered an incredible and beautiful view. Upon arriving at the Jefferson Memorial, we explored every space around, below, and inside the Jefferson Memorial. It, too, was a majestic and awe-inspiring monument. The Jefferson Memorial Building has a Roman pantheonic feel to its design. Construction began in 1939 and was completed in 1943, and a bronze statue of Jefferson stands in the middle of the rotunda under the dome. The Jefferson Memorial is, I think, my favorite. And this monument was officially the last stop on our self-guided night tour of the national monuments. Having traveled quite a distance on foot and by bike, we decided to remain at the Jefferson Memorial a bit longer to sit on the steps and rest and simply admire the beautiful views the night offered. But, with midnight pressing in, we were soon back on our bikes, making our way back toward the National Mall. As we rode, we decided to ride back up to the White House. Once there, we rode past the White House and then down Independence Avenue to Capitol Hill. The streets were totally empty. There was no cars, no people, no traffic of any kind. So we rode our bikes right down the middle of Independence Avenue, all the way from the White House to Capitol Hill. We laughed and giggled riding our bikes together down the middle of the street. We felt as though we were the only people in Washington, D.C. that evening. It was the most exhilarating experience, having that moment all to our own. It's a memory we'll all treasure as an incredible, one-of-a-kind family experience. If you ever get the chance to visit Washington, D.C., I strongly encourage you to do so. It was a spectacular visit and one I am so thankful our family got to do together. And if you do visit, make sure you do a self-guided tour of the national monuments as well. Day or night, the self-guided option allowed us to take our time and go at our own pace, stay longer or hurry through. The self-guided night tour of the national monuments was one of the best things we did while visiting Washington, D.C. I hope you and your family will get to experience Washington, D.C. like ours did back on spring break 2013.
A good day today. A good day today.